Doo-doo-dee. It's Nandi.
Hello friends, welcome back. Today we're covering the latest patch notes, but this video is going to be a bit of a lighter one. Snowprint is probably focusing a lot of their heavy efforts on the subsequent patch, 1.41, which is going to be a much busier update and will likely feature some big celebration stuff to tie in with their 4-year anniversary of Tacticus. It's probably just as well, as I have a couple of holidays planned with the family, so I won't feel the pressure as much to make content. I'll have this patch notes video and perhaps one or two more, but I'll largely be taking this cycle off for some rest and relaxation. A quick thank you to my Patreons and YouTube members. Thanks as always for your support. Let's get into it. Let's start with a broad look at what this season contains. The main talking point is Armageddon, a 3-week celebration of the launch of 11th edition on the tabletop. It comes alongside a 3-week Mythic shop event and some home screen events. There are 2 new characters this patch. The first is Caesar, who unlocks via a 2-week hero release event on July 5th, and the second is also an Imperial, but is being kept under wraps for the time being. A faction tournament arena this patch is a little different in view of Armageddon. Beyond that, we have the usual slew of home screen events, quests, blessed requisitions, and bug fixes. In terms of notable absences, well, there are a lot, since as I said at the start, a lot of attention is probably going to be on the next patch. There are no new relics, machines of war, legendary release event characters, survivals, or campaign events. Armageddon is the big thing this patch, and we've already heard a lot about it this week. In case you're curious, I have done a deep dive on the event and what it all means in a separate video. In terms of cliff notes, 11th edition has launched on the tabletop, and Games Workshop are doing a massive celebration, and Tacticus is also launching stuff alongside it. There is a 3-week mini Mythic event shop where you can earn and spend currency to progress your roster. There are also global home screen events for each faction, and each week we will get a community code to celebrate the winners. I'll go over the home screen events a bit later. There are probably just 2 things that I want to mention to the people that I capture here, because these have been some of the most commonly asked questions recently on my channel. In response to the what should I buy question, I think that for the majority of players, gold and books are the best options. I know that the Armageddon event and accompanying ad campaign that Snowprint are running will have brought in a lot of new players, so for them I would suggest getting character shards. The best ones for you to get are probably Gulgorts, Snotflogga, Lucian, and Nicodemus. You can also get the legendary characters if you want, but the 4 characters that I mentioned will help you a lot in campaigns and early guild raid teams too. The other thing to mention is how to plan and anticipate for what's coming. I have a no-frills Google Sheet which you can look at in the video description, but then you also have Tacticus Planner, also linked below, where you can navigate and plan your own spending. The new character this patch is the 6th Blood Angel, Caesar. He releases via a 2-week hero release event on July 5th and is an uncommon unlock. There's also another character that will be revealed on July 19th. If you're here for a 15-second summary, Caesar is a melee character with higher than usual mobility for a Terminator. His active does single target damage and restores some health, while his passive gives him extra movement as long as he keeps killing things and some AoE damage. I think he'll mainly be a PvP character, but he might have some horde mode value too. We have 2 character quests lined up for July. On July 8th, we have a Thothmech quest. Necrons are the only playable faction, and you'll be fighting against the Dark Angels. On July 29th, Niall is the protagonist. You'll be leading the Sons of Russ alongside their Imperial allies, specifically drawing from the Ultramarines, Black Templars, and Adeptus Astartes factions to take on the Tau. We have 2 tournament arenas to prepare for this month. The first is a special faction war TA running on July 1st. This is heavily tied into the Armageddon theme, meaning your roster selection is strictly limited to the iconic factions of that conflict. The usable factions for this event will be Blood Angels, Orcs, Astra Militarum, Black Templars, World Eaters, and Ultramarines. To keep things fair, Snowprint have also slightly reshuffled the neutral NPCs to try and keep things more balanced. However, to keep things unbalanced, Mephiston is playable, so I expect most players to gravitate towards the Blood Angels. Following that special TA, we will return to a standard, more traditional tournament arena format later in the month on July 13th. Some people seem to enjoy the faction TA meta breakdown that I do every patch, so I have another quick update for you here. The top leaderboard has some surprising Dark Angels entries, so special congratulations to Limchalia and Vey Korvox. Overall, it appears that the Tau are still dominating the TA landscape. I don't know if Snowprint care enough about balancing in faction TA, but as sad as it makes me to say it, I think the Tau probably do need a nerf if they want to keep the landscape a bit more balanced. A quick note on Guild War because the battlefield layouts are getting a slight shake-up. We are losing 2 structures from the map, One anti-air battery and the Vox station are being removed. In their place, Snowprint is dropping in 2 landing pads. We've had the landing pads in the past, but as a quick reminder, they essentially allow Blood Angel's summons to swoop down onto adjacent war zones to disrupt the battlefield. In the past, these Inceptors haven't been hugely potent, so it will be interesting to see where Snowprint lands on balancing for these guys. There have also been some shop changes. We now have the Dawnblade and the Rogue Trader rotation, which replaces the Mogatar. The battle pass for this patch is for Tarvak, and the LRE this time is the final run of Lucius the Eternal. Moving on to your scrolls, we have a total of 8 different Blessed Requisition banners live during this patch cycle. Truthfully, I'm not sure I'm super excited about any of them. None of them stand out as absolute must-pulls. However, I'm showing them all on screen just now so that the newer players can digest what's available and see if any of their missing roster pieces are featured. As a small reminder or sidestep, there are also special faction requisitions for the Blood Angels and Orcs during the Armageddon event. If those are unused, I've been informed that they will turn into Blessed Requisitions after the 3-week Armageddon event ends. For home screen events, we have the introduction of global HSEs, and you've probably already seen this in game, so I'll keep it brief. For the 3-week duration of the Armageddon event, there are weekly global HSEs where all players in the game contribute points by defeating enemies with either the Orcs or Blood Angels. For week 1, the relevant mode is Salvage Run, then week 2 it's Onslaught, and week 3 it's Arena. The rewards for the global HSEs are the same every week, it's just the game mode that changes. Alongside those global ones, you also have a personal home screen event, and your Blood Angels and Orc units gain double experience in the relevant game mode. For week 1, you gain points for defeating enemies in Salvage Run, and the rewards are books. For week 2, the rewards are gold, and for week 3, the rewards are salvage. After that, we have the more traditional HSEs. Warp Surge is back on July 17th. Chaos characters in Arena get bonus stats and earn more experience. The rewards are equipment. Then we get a faction boost event for the Dark Angels on July 25th. Dark Angels get bonus experience and stats, and the rewards are a bunch of Dark Angels upgrades. Do well enough, and you can also get Forecast's Relic. To wrap things up, there are a few other things to briefly mention. Certus, Calgar, and Titus are having a few of their upgrades adjusted a little bit, to hopefully make it a bit easier to upgrade and rank up. The other big thing is some further changes to the Skitarii AI. I haven't had a huge amount of time to test things myself, but it sounds like they are trying to fix the AI of the Skitarii so that they position themselves a bit more smartly. And that is every major thing hitting the game in this lighter patch cycle. Make sure to head over and watch the Armageddon deep dive video if you haven't already, and as always, I would recommend checking out the full patch notes for all the detail. As always, a massive thank you to my Patreons and YouTube members for keeping the channel running, and take care friends, bye for now.
Doo-doo-dee. It's Nandi.